All right, welcome back to the filthy kitchen. We're getting busy with some eggs. We're gonna cook 4. I cracked 1 already and threw it in the pan. I got some butter in the pan. We're gonna do 4 eggs with cheese. I'm gonna eat these now. I could have waited and had them with steak later before I go to work, but I think I'm gonna eat them first and then go lie down. Hopefully I'll have enough time to get a few hours sleep before I go to work. Sadly, it is already well past my bedtime, but I've been busy and that's it. Unfortunately, I can't turn back the clock. Father Time marches in one direction only. Alrighty, here we go. Father Time, also known as Kronos, and Mother Nature, Gaia, in a culture or two. Gonna mash the yolks, people. Mash them up. I got 4 delightful eggs right there. Gonna mash them, break them, smash them. And then I'm gonna stir them up. Just like Bob Marley used to sing, stir it up. Here we go. Rest in peace, Bob Marley. Most famous reggae man of all time. I guess you could call him the father of reggae. I don't know if anybody called him that, but he's certainly the top reggae dog. Terrible that he died needlessly due to an infected toe from kicking a soccer ball, breaking his toe. He ended up getting cancer of the foot that they believe could have been prevented had he seen a doctor, but his particular religion of Rastafarianism prevented him from doing that, much like Prince's religion of Seventh-day Adventist prevented him from getting the medical attention that could have saved his life had he had a hip replacement instead of taking fentanyl to deal with the pain in his hips from years of jumping off pianos. So we lost 2 very important figures in music. Prince, one of my all-time favorites, and Bob Marley, who, although he's not one of my all-time favorites, is certainly an excellent musician who I loved and appreciated musically very much, and who I listened to quite often. But I was a die-hard Prince fan from day one, as I'm sure you are aware if you follow my channel. Alrighty, here we go. Cheese, yeah. So I'm gonna take a handful of cheese, about the size of what I would put on a cheeseburger. I got 4 eggs there. And as I mentioned on previous videos, I used the cheese because I really never could acquire a taste for egg yolks. Now, when I was starving in the desert of Australia, and I came out of the desert, the mutton stew that the farmer who saved us gave me tasted like the greatest thing I ever ate. And the fresh water I drank, it was like liquid diamonds or liquid sunlight going down my throat after 3 days in the desert. So had he served me eggs instead, I probably would have loved yolks, but he didn't. He served me mutton stew that was frozen for God knows how long. And it was one of the finest meals I ever had. But if I ate it today, I'd probably go, this is disgusting. No human being should be subjected to eating this. Let's give it to the dog. And probably 25% of our fine friends, the Canis familiaris, would have probably turned up their nose at it and walked away. But to me, starving in the desert, I wasn't really starving. I'd gone 3 days without food, but I certainly was becoming wild. my senses certainly perked up and I was ready to kill an animal if necessary. Didn't come to that, but point is, when you're starving, terrible food tastes good, and fresh, clean water that was probably not all that delightful either was just pure delight. It was amazing. I'm really grateful that I survived that ordeal, and I'm very grateful that I got to enjoy that meal. But for some reason, I tried for many years to acquire a taste for egg yolks. Didn't happen. So now I throw cheese on them to disguise the taste because I don't want to throw away the yolks. I did that for many years. I ate egg whites, but that was foolish because there's so much goodness in a yolk, and there's lots of protein in the yolk as well. A lot of people think the protein is in the egg white. That's not true. There's probably more protein in the yolk, if not very similar amount. And yeah, it's all good. An egg is basically a perfect unit of food, and I've got 4 of them. Anyway, I was never able to develop a taste for baked beans or any kind of beans, actually. I've never been able to develop a taste for hot spices or egg yolks or whatever. Things I never liked as a child, I pretty much don't like now. Although, as a child, I probably would not have eaten Brussels sprouts, but they are delicious, or broccoli, which I also enjoy very much. So, there you have it. But I do eat a lot of stuff that I always ate, and the stuff that I never really liked, I never really developed the taste for. Some of which I spend a lot of time eating, hoping to develop a taste for. I'm not a big fish guy, but whatever. All right, once these eggs are able to fold over, I'm going to do that, and it looks like I've reached that point now. So I'm going to fold this type of omelet. I'll call it an omelet. A Michelin chef might be aghast at me calling this monstrosity an omelet, but what else am I going to call it? So I folded that in half, and it now looks like a half moon. That's going to seal up well. The phone is now at 24% charge, so I'm happy to see that. And instead of washing a plate, I'm just going to use one of these Maloney plates. It's a little bigger than the smallest plates I have, but not much, and it's quite a bit smaller than the biggest plates I have, so it's kind of a small, medium plate. But that's fine. They have that English Cornwall. Were these made in Cornwall? I believe Cornwall is the home of Corningware, if I'm not mistaken. I studied that many years ago. Cornwall comes to mind as a town in England where they had canals built to get the raw materials to the factories that made porcelain. I think that was in Cornwall. I could be mistaken. Anyway, there's enough heat now on that burner. I can turn the burner off. The egg looks wonderful. There's enough heat in the egg actually now to continue the cooking process. I can take it off the heat altogether. Looks mighty fine. And although a Michelin chef might turn his nose up at me calling this an omelet, I think that most people, if they tasted this omelet, they would say, "My God, Squatchman, that is a fine egg and cheese concoction." Maybe not an omelet. We can call it a proto-omelette, or we can call it an omeletoid, if you like, omeletoid. I'm happy with either of those, but for me, it's basically just eggs and cheese. And there you have it. So once this cools down a little, I'm going to slice it up and eat it. And if this steak proves to be inedible, then I'll probably have to pick up some sort of burger on the way to work, but at least I will have eaten the eggs, and all will not have been lost. And I do have the coffee as well. So we're gonna end it here. Turn off the light. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed putting it up for you. I can see that my hair is a mess. I'm gonna have to jump in the shower before work. I can see that my muscles are looking pretty terrible. I haven't lifted weights in a while. And yeah, I can notice, just maybe it's my imagination, but it seems to me that if I miss a few workouts and my muscles shrink and my fat takes over. Maybe it's all in my head, I don't know. But getting back on the horse, remember? Yeah, getting back on the workout train. So we'll call this a video. So until next time, who loves you, baby? This guy. Remember, you're someone's favorite person out there, probably mine. And until next time, let's try to stay positive. Let's endure these hardships, and let's be patient and wait. We're going to think positively. So till next time, love you. Goodbye.